We are here today to speak about the ERAP, or known as Emergency Rental Assistance Program, and the services offered here in Calvert County. Information for you, your friends, your family, if you're interested in learning more about emergency rental assistance and what that entails. I am joined here today by some of our partners in the ERAP program. So today we're going to take questions from the audience, so feel free to comment those at any point. We're going to do introductions of ourselves. We're going to talk about the program and the types of assistance offered, how it works, and some what-if scenarios and frequently asked questions. So we're here to take a moment to inform you guys about the program and how it can apply, and also take your questions and respond while we're here on Instagram. If you have any questions that weren't answered, we'll give a phone number at the end, and you can continue to comment and we'll respond accordingly. So thank you so much for joining. I'm Jacqueline Culver. I'm with the Department of Community Resources. I'm the Special Projects Manager with Community Resources, and I am the Calvert County Manager of the ERAP program, and I'm joined here with Shanae, Corey, and Chessa, who are also working with me in the ERAP program. So first things first, I'm going to introduce Shanae, or she's going to introduce herself, from Southern Maryland Tri-County Community Action Committee.
Thank you, Jacqueline. My name is Shanae Blunt. I am the Housing Program Manager for Southern Maryland Tri-County Community Action Committee. We are located in Hughesville, Maryland. However, we do provide services and support for Calvert County. Some of our services do include the ERAP program, the Emergency Rental Assistance, and we are encouraging all of you to visit our website at www.smtccac.org. In addition to the ERAP program, we also offer financial counseling and budgeting assistance. So if you have any questions about creating a personal budget for yourself, we do have HUD certified housing counselors on staff that will definitely be available to assist you with those endeavors.
Good afternoon. My name is Corey Young. I'm the Assistant Director for Lifestyles of Maryland. We are located throughout Southern Maryland, but our office for Calvert County is located at 120 Gypsale Drive, Unit 6 in Prince Frederick. Our agency does a few programs here in Calvert County, including the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, which also looks at rent and utility assistance. We provide transportation for those that are seniors and disabled, and we also look at wraparound services to assist people with connecting to an array of partners and services that may be available to them throughout the Southern Maryland region. We also provide services for our homeless population to include case management and connecting them to available shelter and housing services. We are so glad to be a partner here with Calvert County on this ERAP program.
Hi, my name is Chessa, and I'm with the Department of Community Resources. I'm a call taker for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. So I help you guys whenever anyone has any inquiries about how the program works or how the application process works, and kind of walk you through the process online or over the phone.
Thank you, Chessa. And again, I'm Jacqueline Culver. I'm with the Department of Community Resources, and we have many different programs that help connect the citizens of Calvert County to resources and referral. So if you have any questions for us, you can always reach out and our information will be shared. So we're going to start off with an overview of the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. So as you can tell by the name, it's a rental assistance program, but it's not just rental assistance. There's funding available for help with past due rent, future rent, the same with utilities, and other housing related costs such as a one-time monthly storage fee. Also, there's assistance for security deposits and certain moving costs. So it is nice to know that those resources are available for our residents and that the application process can be done to meet the needs of the community. So we can help with up to 12 months of arrears and 15 months total currently. There might be more funding available depending on how the program grows and changes over time. Every 3 months, someone can reapply, or we call it recertify, for additional future assistance. So what it could look like is if you have maybe 6 months of arrears, we could pay the 6 months of past due rent and at the same time approve you for 3 months of future rent so that you could get additional assistance, and the same goes with utilities. How you apply is you visit www.calvertcountymd.gov/renthelp. So that's www.calvertcounty.gov/renthelp. And there's an online form to begin the application process. It's an inquiry form where we send the referral to one of these two agencies. You can also call 410-535-1600, extension 2460. Again, 410-535-1600, extension 2460, to speak to someone Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. to also initiate that process. That's how the application process starts and kind of what's covered, but I'd love to open up to our agencies to talk about frequently seen items that are covered and their take of the ERAP program as well.
Sure. So one other thing that ERAP can also assist with is application fees. So if there are people who are in need to move to another location, we can assist with that. We do want to remind everyone that we can only provide assistance to move in the state of Maryland. So if you are currently in a home in Calvert and you're not able to stay, if you find housing somewhere in the state of Maryland, we are able to assist you with that cost to move, which again, as Jacqueline had alluded to, it would be the security deposit, which can be no more than the value of 2 months worth of rent, and looking at potential of future rent for 3 months. Once you move, if you move outside of Calvert County, please know you will have to recertify any future rent to the county that you are moving to. So we want to just kind of add that little disclaimer in there. But other than that, the process and what the services are offered, Jacqueline has explained it pretty well.
As far as SMTC CAC goes, pardon me, we do have a satellite office also in Calvert County. It's located at Yardley Hills. So if you cannot make it up to, if you can't, if Hughesville is out of range for you, we do have a more convenient location for you, like I said, located at Yardley Hills. The person that you will contact at that specific office, her name is LaShawn Freeman, and Ms. Freeman is available to answer any of your questions, to help you with your application if you need to receive an application, or if you have questions about the application or need assistance in completing the application. If you do contact our headquarters, the housing counselor on staff there that would be available to take your calls and inquiries, his name is Marty Kane.
All right, thank
Yes.
you. And on my end, I'm getting a live video pause alert, and it might just be my reception, so questions might not come in through me immediately, but we can always address them after the chat if I missed any. So, so after someone visited the website and fills out that form, or they call the call center, which most likely you'll reach Chessa or Ashley. So Chessa here can talk a little bit about what happens when you call that 410-535-1600 extension 2460 number, and what those next steps are.
Yes, so normally we'll go over the initial interest form, which is on our website, and that just goes over the type of assistance you may be looking for. So since we do cover a lot of different programs such as rent and utilities, that initial interest form will go ahead and narrow down specifically what you're looking for, and then after we submit that, you'll receive a follow-up email that will have the PDF attachment, and that will act as your actual application, and that will also be where you're partnered with one of our organizations over here. And then from then, you will receive further contact from either Shanae or Corey talking about more steps about what to do after the application or when the application is submitted.
Great. One question I always get is, what kind of documentation or information is needed to apply?
Sure, I can start. So one thing we do ask for is proof of income. So any income that the household has received within the last 30 days. So that could be proof of pay stubs. It could be if you have a disability benefit statement. It could be your bank account statement showing deposits that were made. Any income that comes into the house from any of the adult household members. Another thing that we ask for is some proof of housing. So if it's the lease or a statement from the tenant and landlord showing some rental agreement, and also a ledger showing what the person owes on their rent. If you're moving into permanent housing somewhere else, then we also ask for kind of the welcome letter and a draft lease that states the amount or the cost it would be to move into the unit. And if you're asking for utility assistance, we would ask for the actual bill, the most recent copy of the bill that shows what amount is physically owed.
Another piece of information that is vital to this program is the fact that it is designed for persons that have been impacted directly or indirectly from COVID-19. As a result of this pandemic, people have been impacted in ways that are often unimaginable. So if you have any questions as to how you were impacted or if it qualifies you for the program, I would definitely encourage you to call in and ask, because there are quite a few reasons, such as, you had a reduction in hours, you may have lost your employment, you may have been laid off, you may have been terminated, but also if your kids' schools were closed and you had to stay home and care for your kids or teach your kids, or someone in your home had a positive test result and you felt the brunt of that financial burden, those are also considered what we call indirect impacts of COVID. If you were at your place of employment and someone tested positive, a lot of our restaurant employees were impacted indirectly, and they did not feel comfortable going back into the workplace once someone tested positive. Those are definitely considerations that are eligible for this program. So your circumstance, may be something that we have not experienced or even thought of. So I definitely encourage you to call and ask those questions, because the pandemic has impacted persons in ways that, like I said, are unimaginable, and your circumstance may be unique to what someone else has experienced. But if the pandemic has impacted you in any kind of way, you or your immediate family member, definitely give us a call and we can help you work through those challenges.
Great. And I think we're back live on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram before and you're just joining, although I think it's just me right now, feel free to comment your questions again and I'll address them. And I think I captured all the ones that were commented before. We're also on YouTube. So we are talking about the emergency rental assistance program and what type of assistance is available. Shanae, thank you so much for those examples of COVID impact. I know a lot of questions have been about kids being at home and families at a house and home and having to get technology or upgrade the internet or get internet service for the first time due to that. And also just people's own telework expenses or having to reduce their hours. So what if someone chose to reduce their hours to have to stay home and be a caregiver? Would that be due to the pandemic because their kids were home? So they weren't laid off but they did have to reduce their hours to parent when kids would normally be in school. Would that be an eligible impact?
Absolutely. That is what we consider an indirect impact of COVID. If your children's schools were closed and you, like you said, had to take a reduction in hours, you don't have had COVID yourself in order to be eligible for these benefits. These are circumstances that none of us have ever seen or known before. So if you had to reduce your hours or work from home, and your kids are definitely eating you out of house and home, and the electric bill has risen drastically, your grocery bill has risen drastically. These things, of course, we're not saying that we're going to pay the grocery bill, but these are definitely impacts. So if your electric bill, your water bill has increased, or if you had to upgrade your Wi-Fi, your internet system, or if you didn't have Wi-Fi before or internet, but you had to get that service to support your kids in their school and or your work situation. If you didn't have internet before and now you have to get it so that you can comfortably work from home, definitely give us a call and we can help you work through your personal narrative. So I can't reinforce or state over and over again how your circumstance, it very well may be unique, and that is okay. Give us a call and we can help you, put language to how this thing has impacted you, and make sure that we have that communication, understanding that if you were impacted by COVID, we're definitely here to help you.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I think a lot of people think, well, I haven't gotten COVID, so I'm not impacted, but it's bigger than that.
Much bigger
And
than that.
even the application asks if you bought a face mask, that counts as being impacted by COVID. So if you've purchased a face mask to have to go out in public, that is considered COVID impact for this application. I've also noticed that a lot of families had increased not only grocery bills, but takeout bills.
Absolutely.
Just because when everything was closed, there were like dedicated shopping hours, and there's a lot of anxiety about going out. That was definitely a need, and that is also on the application counts as COVID impact.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much. I would also like to ask, what if someone is self-employed? Are they still eligible to apply?
Absolutely, still eligible to apply. Again, everyone's situation may be different in terms of your narrative, so we will work with you. Our counselors are on staff that even though you were self-employed and or an Uber driver or a Lyft driver, a cab driver, and your hours were impacted, definitely this program is designed for those persons as well. The documentation may look a little bit different, but definitely give us a call and we can make you aware of the documents that are required for your situation. But absolutely, as long as you fall within the income guidelines, I mean, that's a big part. As long as you fall into the income guidelines, yes, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a contractor or a person, a 1099 form is what we call them, there are definitely resources available for you as well.
Corey, could you maybe answer one of the questions that just came in? How long does the application process typically take?
So when we get the inquiry from the county, we have our staff who will contact the client, and typically within 3 business days you will hear from one of the staff at Lifestyles, whether it's via phone or email. And then we also will have staff that will follow up with the landlord if you're requesting rental assistance to get the required documents from them. Once all of the documents are received in hand by the agency, it takes no more than 5 to 7 business days to have the application and all supporting documents submitted to Calvert County Government so that the payment can be processed. And that could be processed either by check to the landlord, or if the landlord requests it through an ACH direct deposit form, they can also get it direct deposited. So it really does depend upon each household how long the process takes, because there are certain documents we are required to have in place in order to have the application submitted successfully. But our staff will work with each person and will be patient in the process, and will let you know what other forms would be needed or documents that are needed in order to complete the application.
And I'm on the end of that process. I get that final application for payment to be made, and I am happy to say that I've seen applications take anywhere from 2 days to a month, depending on how fast the client, so the applicant and the landlord, respond to our questions. Usually the delays that I'm seeing are just follow-up paperwork, signatures, those sort of things. And the county processes these payments and applications every single day. So we are moving quickly to make sure people get assistance. I have a few more questions that have come in, and so I'm so happy to see that, so keep them coming. I will open this up for the room. So are there any restrictions on this program based on immigration status?
There are no restrictions as far as immigration status. The main challenge is, as Shanae had alluded to, is the income requirement. We cannot provide assistance for any household whose income is more than 80% area median income. So to give you an example, for a household of 4, we're talking about the household income not being more than about $82,000. So we realize for most households, they would be eligible to apply for these funds, but there is no restriction as far as immigration status as long as all the other documents are provided.
And what about if someone's in a rent-to-own agreement?
If you are in a rent-to-own agreement, absolutely, we can definitely help you. As long as you, it's a rental, you have a lease intact, and it's a current lease. So as long as your lease is dated between, during the time of the pandemic impact, as long as it's a current lease, even if your lease has recently been renewed, that is okay. So you don't have to worry about, being in a rent-to-home scenario to not be eligible. You're definitely eligible, and to be very transparent, we do have quite a few customers that we have successfully assisted that were in rent-to-own programs.
All right, and then I have a question from a landlord. They're a landlord and they're wondering about how they get more information about this program. What does it look like for them? Can they apply? How does it work from the landlord's perspective? Yeah. We all have the answers, which is good.
So landlords can also submit information via the inquiry form. There are documents that we do have to have from the tenant because the tenant does have to agree to be part of the program. So landlords certainly could call any of our agencies or could contact the county directly to get more information. Applications for our agency are on our website, so if you want to draw down the application and work directly with the tenant, that's great. We do have quite a few landlords that actually help the tenant get the documents together because it's in the best interest of the landlord to get to be part of this program. So we are open to that as well. So if you want to help your tenants gather all the documents and submit it on behalf of the tenant, as long as you have your part of the documents and the tenant, that's great. We do still want to talk to the tenant because we want to make sure that it is the tenant that's actually involved in the application process. So just know that we will also be reaching out to them as well.
Yes, because we do have to confirm the COVID impact for the tenant as well as their income and those sort of things.
Yes, and if I would interject a bit, it's a partnership between the landlord, the tenant, and our ERAP program. So the landlord, yes, is more than welcome to even initiate the application. You can call in and get questions and provide documentation, just as Corey and Jacqueline said. Yes, we will work with the tenant, but no, landlords, you do not have to wait for the tenant to reach out to us first. We are available on hand for your questions as well. So even though we have predominantly spoken to tenants and the privileges or the benefits that we're offering to them, please do not feel dismayed in contacting us and asking questions and having questions if you are the landlord. We are here to support you as well, and we work in conjunction with everyone. We don't want anyone to feel excluded.
Another question. So what if my grandma needs assistance and she's not good with technology and doesn't have a phone? Is there one-on-one assistance where she could meet with somebody or have assistance on a way that's not on the computer?
Absolutely. On a daily basis, we work with residents that are not technology savvy. They may not have smartphones where they can capture images and just shoot them in with their phones, as other people are able to. If you have someone in your family that needs assistance or that you can assist, yes, we welcome a third party to help get those documents in. Our agency receives applications and documents via mail all day, every day. So it is okay. We also have a Dropbox. So if it's convenient for you to drop those documents off, if you don't have access to email or a computer, you can drop it in via our Dropbox, and it looks very similar to a standard United States Postal Service mailbox. You just drop it in. It's a secure venue for you to drop your documents. You can mail them in with your permission and consent. You can email them in. If you need to call on someone's behalf and ask questions and relay information, we welcome that as well. Again, there is no situation too unique for any of our agencies to speak to. Even if you are, if English is not your second language, express that. Or if you know someone who English is not their second language, but you are willing to be a translator for them, definitely give a call on their behalf. We do have protocols in place, translation protocols in place. I did have a family who her sister was in need, but her sister did not speak English very well. So she served, with her sister's consent, of course, she did serve as a translator on her behalf. And she was able to get those documents to her sister and drop them at the drop box on her behalf. So if a lot of people, you know, need assistance in various ways, and whatever your unique situation is, give us a chance. Give us the opportunity to help you with that. The more unique the situation, the more that we get geared up and rise to the occasion. So
Exactly. And you can also, I want to speak to where we are today. I didn't say that. We are at the Prince Frederick Library, where there's also scanners that are free for you to use to scan documents to these agencies. The Community Resources offices are at 30 Duke Street in Prince Frederick, also known as the Old Library. It's across from the post office behind Dreamweaver. We do accept application drop-offs or pickups during business hours, and we can scan your documents on site and return them to you. If you have, want to scan a copy of your ID, but you need it back immediately, you definitely can come pick up and drop off applications at our office, especially if you don't have printing abilities or computer abilities. That's something we're happy to help with. If you call that 410-535-1600, extension 2460 number, they can help you coordinate the drop off and pick up. And Corray with Lifestyles, they have a local office at Gibsdale Drive, like she mentioned, where I believe you can pick up and drop off.
Yes, so at Gibsdale Drive, we do have staff there Tuesdays through Thursdays from 9 to 3. So you are certainly welcome to drop off. We also have staff that are there that can help you complete the application and can make copies. We do have a Spanish-speaking staff person, so if you need assistance with translation, you can certainly contact our office and we can coordinate that resource. Probably in the next 24 hours, we will also have a Spanish application that will be posted on our website. So if you feel more comfortable completing it in Spanish, there will be a way to do that as well. For the person who asked about their grandmother needing assistance, we welcome that. We just want to be able to speak to the grandmother. So if there's some way we can communicate with grandma, whether it's through your phone or via email, it just would be helpful to have that conversation with the applicant directly.
Great. And then Chessa, I think the call that you get 99% of the time is, what's the status of my application?
Yes.
So, and I think there's different parts of that, right? Like some people submit that first inquiry form and they're maybe confused and think that's the full application, but that's really about one form for an 8-page application that we need to be completed. So do you have any advice for what people want to check their status and to call the agencies?
Yeah, and if you have any questions about, like, if you're not able to fill out the inquiry form on your own, we can do it while you call me over the phone, and that's totally up to you. That's totally up for a preference. But in terms of checking your application status, we usually ask you to call the organization that you're partnered with, so it either be Tri-County or Lifestyles, and they'll be able to give you more information on where you stand. But usually when you call us, we can go over some of the basic information about how the application works and the turnaround time. I just can't give you those specific timelines, but they will be more than likely to assist you with that.
And Chessa is great at working with the agencies too to help communicate a status update back to you, and making sure people respond to you. And she can also tell you what agency you're working with if you forgot. And sometimes she can check the status. She can certainly see if all documentation has already been submitted to the county for payment. She can look at the status of that as well. So all that will be communicated with you. You just have to call and ask and have a little patience, especially around the holidays. Things have been a little crazy, but we welcome it. I think we live on crazy, and I don't think our inboxes are ever empty. I think other questions that I see come in is the county has sent out water shutoff notices, so I think we're having a lot more utility requests. So if I get a shutoff notice in the mail today, what do I do?
call.
And where for your organizations, who do they call? Because Southern Maryland, Tri-County, you have your OHEP as well.
Yes, we do have OHEP. Give us a call at 301-274-4474. We do have a OHEP division, department on site, and we can definitely help you with those utility bills. Your utility bills are inclusive of, but not limited to, electric, water, sewage, internet up to $50 per month, and propane. Yes. So if you do have an inquiry or a shut-off notice or a past due bill, again, if you've been impacted by COVID, definitely give us a call for those utility bills, and we are on hand to assist you with that.
And we'll definitely need a consent form for you for those, because like BG and SMECO, they won't talk to us directly about your bill for your privacy reasons. So you do have to communicate with us, and you also have to communicate with the utility company that you're applying for assistance and authorize them to be able to speak with us so we can make payment directly.
And specifically to SMT CCAC, because we do have an OHEP department, they can speak directly to the utility departments on your behalf. So when it comes to your utilities, it can actually move rather, I don't want to give false hope, but we do have a direct relationship with them, and we can get those procedures started fairly swiftly to make sure that your family does not have to suffer the loss of your utility resources.
The most important thing when calling about utilities is please have a current bill, because that helps us identify how many months of assistance you need, but also you don't have to come back to us in another month for the remainder to be paid. So it's really, really important to have a current bill, and we can help you get that if you need one. But there's no need to submit an old bill. A current bill is going to be the best bet for you.
Yes.
And then another question that I think we get a lot is, okay, that's a lot of information for renters. What about homeowners?
So there is going to be mortgage assistance coming out very, very soon. There is information on the Department of Housing and Community Development's website about the Homeowner Assistance Fund. So if you go to www.dhcd.maryland.gov, and again, Maryland is all spelled out. As soon as you get to the home page, you'll click on the Home Ownership tab, and it'll take you right to that page to tell you a little bit more about the program. You can actually type in your email address, and as soon as the monies become available or the applications can start being submitted, they will send you a notification via your email to let you know more about how to apply.
And if you call us at the 410-535-1600 extension 2460 number, we can direct you to that form directly and help you fill it out as well if you don't have computer access. And then there is some limited funding available for homeowners with utility issues and needs, and that is why you do still want to inquire and just indicate that you're a homeowner, because we can refer you to the proper program that might be able to assist you with your needs. It's not as big of a pool of funding as it is with this ERAP program right now, but we can at least help you navigate some solutions and resources. And then I kind of, as we're at 12:40 now, I haven't seen any new questions come in. Do we have any more? As we look for that, I think I'd like to come up with some, go over again the types of assistance, what this program covers. And then I think a big one is, are there any limits for this program?
Yes.
Is it a dollar limit?
So the dollar limit, no. However, it is limited to 15 months of assistance. So whatever your rental agreement is, whatever the monthly payment was agreed to, whether it is low or whether it is high, give us a call and we can definitely navigate through that. But we can pay up to 9 months of arrears and then 3 months future rent. Some customers may be at a point where you are just coming into the point of having a difficulty, and COVID is still active. So some people are still recently having diagnosis and recent setbacks from experiencing COVID even now. So even if you weren't impacted, 9 months ago or a year and a half ago, as some people were, even if it's a recent occurrence or setback, definitely give us a call. The only limitation is, that 15 months, 9 months arrears, and then
12 months of
I'm sorry,
arrears.
12 months arrears. Thank you, and 3 months going forward.
And so you're saying someone doesn't have to have arrears to apply for future assistance?
Even if you're at 1 month, give us a call, because if you're right at that brink where you're just starting to become deficient on your rent.
And that's the same with utilities,
That
correct?
is the same with utilities, correct?
Great. And I would like to note that for any landlords out there and renters, we do make the payments monthly. So you may be approved for 3 months in advance, but we make those payments the first week of the month, just because it's easier on our end and easier for you as well to keep track of what months the payments were for. And then, Corey, I have a question for you. What about individuals experiencing homelessness? Are they eligible for this program? So, for example, can funds be provided to displaced households living in hotels, motels to get out of homelessness?
So the funds unfortunately cannot pay for hotel costs, but it does certainly help you be able to move into permanent housing. So if you need help as far as the application fees, security deposits, the 1 month of storage costs, or the future rent assistance, we can assist with that. Our agency also puts out a housing resource list on a weekly basis of available housing units throughout Southern Maryland and Prince George's County primarily. So if you would like to get more information about getting that housing resource list, please feel free to contact us and we can certainly share that information. It is hard to try to find housing throughout the nation, but we do as much as we can to help people apply for housing. So at least if you're on a wait list, we have enough time to work with you and also with the potential landlord to get the assistance that you need to move into a place.
So,
And can I
yeah,
interject?
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, of
Just
course,
as
I love it.
Corey was saying, if you're in a hotel or motel, we can't pay those bills. But if you are living with family members and the house is overcrowded and you're able to find permanent housing and apartment, we can help in that circumstance too. You may not be homeless, but if there's a threat of COVID, being a little bit more contagious in your home environment, and you're able to obtain permanent housing, then we can also help with the security deposit and the first month's rent, just as if you were transitioning from a hotel or a motel. We do want folks to be safe.
And I will say those are my favorite cases to process, or when we can move someone from a shelter or living with family and friends to having their own unit with their security deposit covered and 3 months of rent covered to really get on their feet. I don't know, I just really, that's the rewarding part of the program, I think, for me a lot. And to help where you live, so help people here today. I think to date we've processed nearly 150 applications. We've made nearly 800 unique payments. So it has been a very successful and high demand program in our area. I want to wrap it up and just mention that we are talking about the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, also known as ERAP. This program can offer up to 15 months of assistance, so that's 12 months of past due assistance maximum, but 15 months total, and future assistance for costs like rent and utility assistance, security deposits, and those sort of items. To find out if you are eligible or to see how to apply, the best thing to do is call 410-535-1600 extension 2460. And I'll apologize if you're calling right now. Our call taker, Chessa's here with us, so she'll get back to you, later today or tomorrow or Monday. We're open 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, except on holidays. So next week is the Thanksgiving holiday. So the beginning of the week would be when you would hear from us. You can also go to www.calvertcountymd.gov/renthelp and fill out the self-serve form so that someone will contact you with the application details. Usually within 48 hours, you'll receive a copy of the application and instructions. and next steps and contact information for the agency that will be working with you. We will accept your documentation application any way that you send it to us, whether that's handwritten, printed, mailed, dropped off, faxed, emailed. You send it, we receive it, and we process it. And we're here to help you figure out how to send it too. So if you do call that number I mentioned earlier, Chelsea can help you arrange to pick up or drop off the application and scan your items. Landlords, same offer goes to you for printing and scanning, and we can provide updates on your cases and help you reach out to your tenants too who might be behind. We've had tenants landlords refer their own tenants, and that's been very successful. I think this program can sound a little intimidating because it says you must have a COVID impact, but as we learned today, COVID impact could be that your hours were reduced, you had to stay home to take care of your kids, your bills went up because your kids are at home, your bills went up because you had to eat out more, you had to purchase a face mask, you had COVID, you had to quarantine because of COVID exposure. So there's many different reasons. So the best way to figure out if you're eligible is to call us and apply today. And then applications can be processed as soon as you submit all the final documentation to us. So once that final documentation is submitted, it usually about a week to 2 weeks before payment hits your landlord's bank account or your utility company's bank account. And you're notified of all payments that are made. If you have a shut-off notice, if you're facing eviction, if you have court, what you want to do is call and apply today. So you want to call 410-535-1600, extension 2460, or go to www.calvertcountymd.gov/renthelp. And we're joined today with Chessa, who will answer the phone when you call that 410 number, along with Ashley, who answers our phones, or you'll reach me sometimes too. I'm Jacqueline. I'm with the Community Resources Department with Calvert County Government. But you also will be able to work with one-on-one personalized assistance with Southern Maryland Tri-County Community Action Committee or Lifestyles of Maryland. And we are joined with Shanae and Corey from those organizations. And if you want to give a final summary of how to contact you, what your organization does, and any final notes you'd like to end with before we see if we have any final questions.
Absolutely. Again, I'm from Southern Maryland Tri-County Community Action Committee. You are more than welcome to visit us online at www.smtccac.org. At that website, you will be able to see and take advantage of all of the financial education and literacy workshops that we offer, as well as look through the guidelines and the expectations and requirements of the ERAP program, through all of the programs that are offered there. You can dibble and dabble and see what services we offer and provide that you and your family can take advantage of. If you ever have any questions, you are always more than welcome to give us a call, or you can submit a question on our website. We do have HUD certified counselors on staff that are eagerly awaiting your questions, your concerns, and like I said, there's no situation too unique, too great, or too small. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate. Do not hesitate.
We're in vacation mode.
to ask. But definitely, all questions are welcomed. Even if the question is not specifically for you, if it is for someone else, definitely. I think during this pandemic and during the past couple of years in this country, we are seeing just how closely entangled we are with each other as a community and how dependent we are as a community. So even if not for yourself, but for a neighbor or for a family member, definitely call. If you are a landlord, if you are a tenant, if you are a cousin, if you are a friend, give us a call, any of us, and we'll be more than happy to get whatever resources that we can to you and your family.
Great. Again, my name is Corey Young, Assistant Director with Lifestyles. You can reach us toll free. Our phone number is 1-866-293-0623. Our office is open Mondays through Fridays from 9:30 to 5. Specifically, our Calvert office is located at 120 Gypsale Drive, Unit 6 in Prince Frederick, and our staff are there Tuesdays through Thursdays from 9 to 3 to be able to accept your applications and also assist you in person with any applications that you may have. I think some final thoughts is if you already know you are in need of assistance, we encourage you to go ahead and apply. So even if you don't know how you're going to pay your rent for December, please go ahead and start working on the application and submit the inquiry form. Also, if you are homeless or if you have zero income, you are still eligible to apply for these funds. So we want to make sure that we are reaching as many people as possible to let you know that we are here to assist you with hopefully staying in your home or helping you to move to somewhere else that you feel may be best for you and for your family. We are so appreciative of Calvert County for the funds that are available in our community. We are looking forward to continuing to assist you and your family throughout 2022 if you are in need of assistance. But if you already know you need the help, even if you haven't gone to court or gotten an eviction notice, go ahead and submit your application.
And I think my final question would be, what if someone applied maybe last year for assistance, or they've already applied but they're falling behind again? Can they reapply?
There are some guidelines that come into, that maximum 15 months of assistance. However, if you don't know how many months you have exhausted, and if you have received benefits before, ask. We are here to help you with that, because we can provide assistance even if you have received assistance before. But again, give us that opportunity to work through your story and see if you are eligible to reapply for benefits again.
And if I could just add one more thing, we do work as partner agencies. So if you've already submitted an application with Southern Maryland Tri-County, we encourage you to keep working with Southern Maryland Tri-County. But if you've started your application with Lifestyles, if you can continue to work with us. But we do try to make sure we do not duplicate efforts. This is the same pot of funds. So we do coordinate services behind the scenes. So just make sure that if you've already submitted an application, just go ahead and go through that same agency. We strongly ask you all to be patient with our agencies. We're getting an overwhelming number of applications. And as many other employers, we are short-staffed in trying to process applications. So we do ask that you work with us as we try to process applications. Please know that business days means Monday through Friday. While staff might be working after hours or weekends to make sure we stay up to date, just be mindful of the Monday through Friday business time frame. And our office is closed for Thanksgiving and the Friday after Thanksgiving.
And to echo what Hooray said, we are partner organizations. Please do not submit two applications, one with Lifestyles and another with SMTC, CAC, and potentially someone else. We do respect the application process, and we all go through, the specific timeline. Do not grow impatient and create a duplicate application amongst different organizations, because that can actually slow down the process. Because if Coray's organization or Lifestyle sees that you already have an application on file with another organization, we have to go in and do our due diligence to make sure that those applications are not duplicated. So definitely respect the process and work with your housing counselor. Just as she said, if you're working with Lifestyles, keep pushing with them, keep providing that documentation with them, and do not impede your application by applying at duplicate organizations.
Exactly, because I'll catch it on my end too. And we're unique with partnering with these organizations that they don't just serve Calvert County. They are Tri-County organizations. They serve multiple areas. So they do really, truly have a very high call volume right now, but that has not impacted the quality of work or applications getting processed at all. Things still make it through. We are processing applications daily. So that's why we encourage you to apply, check in on the status, reapply if you need to, because if you applied a year ago, we might have used different funding to pay that bill, so you might still be eligible, and that's not something you necessarily might be aware of on your end, but it's something we can definitely look up on our end. So we're here to help. We're here to answer questions. We're so glad for all the participation and questions we've gotten, and we welcome you to keep submitting questions. Again, you can do that via phone at the 410-535-1600 extension 2460 number, and fill out the form online at www.calvertcountymd.gov/renthelp. We're here to answer your questions. Thank you so much for joining us here today at the Calvert Library in Prince Frederick. It's been a pleasure. It's always nice to talk about this program and meet with all of you. You know, we always have a lot of fun, and it's nice to get out of the office for a little bit and interact with the public. So thank you so much. We look forward to having your questions continue to come in, and we hope to see your application.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.